All right, last exercise, exercise 8. This is kind of like starting from scratch, blank slate. Can you create a scene in 2-point perspective? So I have some steps up here of how I want you to start out this drawing. There's a lot of creative freedom you have in this, so you could really fancy it up and do whatever you want to do to it, but just get the basics in there. So step number 1, draw a horizon line across the page. Doesn't say where to put it. If you want to put it really high, cool. If you want to put it really low, cool. I wouldn't go too low, because if you see there's like a road, you need to have a chimney, you need to have a porch, a driveway, a mailbox, an in-ground pool. You want to have some space for that. So I'm going to put it a little bit more than halfway up. And I'm also working pretty fast in this, so this video won't be like extremely long. So definitely keep pausing me if you need to like pause and draw something. All right, add 2 vanishing points towards the edge of the paper on the horizon line. So I have my 2 vanishing points. Step number 3, make a road going from the bottom of the page to one of the vanishing points. Doesn't really matter where you put this road. It could be as wide as you want it to be. It could be as skinny as you want it to be. All right, so I'm gonna start to think about like my scale here. Like if that is how wide I made my road, let's say it's a 2-lane road, how big would a car be traveling on that road? Oh my gosh, look at my stupid car. And how big would a person be standing on that road? I have a pretty little guy here in this big composition. So when I go to make my house and when I go to make my windows, I know how big they need to be compared to the road. I hate it when people do drawings and they make a teeny tiny little road and then they make this like massive front door. Like it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Add a house with a peaked roof. How big is the house compared to the road? We have discussed that. So your house, you can put it anywhere you want, knowing that you're gonna need to have space for a driveway and space for an in-ground pool. So it's in 2-point perspective. So we need to start with the corner and then we need to build out both directions. Okay. I'm actually going to erase my horizon line through it just so I don't get confused and think it's like something else. All right, I have to have a peaked roof on this. So to make my peak on my roof, I'm going to make my peak over here. I'm going to find like the middle of this. It's about 4 inches, so about 2 inches high, or 2 millimeters. Gosh, I'm not even reading on the inches side. This is not in perspective. Finding the peak and drawing it down. Kind of just have to eyeball it there. But the top of the roof is in 1-point perspective. That's going to go back to that vanishing point, and then this peak line is just going to be parallel to that back one. All right, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Step 5, add a chimney on the house. So I'm gonna make my chimney right here. And a chimney doesn't like just stick on flat to the house. The chimney is 3D. So that has to be 3D there. The top of my chimney is going to angle towards my vanishing points. Again, I've got a lot of lines going on here. I'm just going to get rid of some just so this isn't like visually confusing. Okay. Step 5 is done. Step 6, put 4 windows and a door on the house. So again, look how teeny tiny this person is compared to this house. This is definitely a 2-story house, but my windows don't need to be like all that big. So I'm gonna line it up to my vanishing point. And I'm actually kind of gonna hit like 2 windows at the same time. Like if you line up the bottom, you could just do them both at the same time. So it's 2 stories. I'm gonna put my other 2 windows up here at the top of the house. And maybe they have like the little crossbar. You can make them fancy, put like the little window frame around them if you want. All right, so I have 4 windows. Just because I feel like it, I'm actually gonna make 2 more windows over here, just because I want there to be some windows on the upstairs the whole way around. Okay, now I need a door. So my door can go down here, maybe. And again, you could put your door wherever you want. Like yours doesn't have to look like mine. I'll put some little like windows at the top of the door, doorknob. Okay. Number 7, add siding to the house. It'll go back to the vanishing points. So if it's on the right side of my house, it's gonna go back to my right vanishing point. So I'm gonna avoid my windows here and put siding the whole way up my house. I want it to be evenly spaced. I'm not gonna do the whole thing because time. So you can see this happening here. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Don't do what I do. Make yours nice. If your house is above the horizon line, it'll start to be angled down a little bit to meet the vanishing points. Okay. Number 8, put a porch next to the house, aka a slab of concrete. So my porch happens to be over here. So I'm gonna make my slab of concrete come off of the house, and we know that a slab of concrete is 3D. So I'm just gonna make it kind of thin, just like a skinny little box over here. You could be fancy and you can put like, it's like a roof or something if you want. Like this is not required, but if you want to, you could put like little awning, whatever, over it. So now you have like an overhang. Maybe you want to like put railing on it. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. If you want. Or just keep it the slab of concrete. All right. Number 9. Add a driveway going from the road and turning in next to the house. Okay. So my driveway... I'm going to put my driveway behind my house. Actually, I'm just going to run into my house there. Okay, I'll put it right behind my house. It's going to point to my vanishing point. I'd have like a garage back here somewhere. I mean, if you really want to make a garage, you can. You could like have it come off the house. Maybe that's more roof space. I don't know. You could be fancy. Little garage door opener. So that could be your garage, but you don't have to have a garage, just a driveway. All right, add a mailbox at the end of the driveway. So mailbox, post comes up. It's in perspective. The mailbox itself is like a literal box, and it is in perspective. It's kind of rounded at the top. Kind of looks like a loaf of bread, I think. Got a little flag on it. There we go. Oh Lord, I probably just made all of this too big compared to my road, let's be honest, but okay. Add an in-ground pool in the backyard. Put a diving board on the end. Okay, so I guess my backyard, we'll call it my side yard over here. So this is kind of like my front yard. So an in-ground pool is gonna be going back to my vanishing points. And I'm gonna let it like run behind my house, like in-ground pool is there. And my in-ground pool is not 3D. I mean, like, it's sitting flush with the grass. You can put like the concrete, like little walkway around it if you want to. That kind of thing. That helps you figure out like what you're looking at here. A diving board on one end. It's gonna come off there. So now I have my diving board. Maybe you wanna put an inner tube in there. I don't know, something. Okay, and add 3 trees. They are smaller as they go back in space towards the horizon line. So let's say I want to have a tree in my front yard. Where do I put it without covering up my swimming pool too much? So I'm saying this is a big tree. This is like been there a while. If it's really close to you as the viewer, God, this is a really large tree. It's probably going to cover up something in your composition. That's good. Overlap and stuff like that makes drawings look more realistic and makes them look more natural. This is a terrible tree. My goodness. I'm just trying to do this really fast for you. So I have a tree here. Maybe I want to do a tree behind the house. Maybe you're not really seeing a whole lot of it because it's behind the house. And then let's say I have a tree like way off in the distance down here. It's farther away. That tree is gonna be pretty small. All right, so that's the bare minimum. If you feel like you want some extra practice or you just like doing this because you like creating these little scenes, there's some other things that you can add down here. If you feel so inclined, you could put up a fence, you could put up shrubs, you can make a sidewalk around, you know, the street. You could put up some lamp posts if you want to, and make it look like this is like some nice little street corner here. Obviously paying attention to perspective and making stuff going back to your vanishing point. Different details on the house, gutters, window frames, covering the porch like I did here, shingles, bricks. You could go back and like put bricks onto the chimney. You can add some details to the pool. You can add some like walk-in steps. You can add lounge chairs. Maybe if you have a neighbor, you can add another house, anything else you can think of. So it's just good practice to play around with it and try to imagine things and try to bring them to life in this way. So that is exercise 8.